Sign and Song, a reflection for the Assumption. This year, in place of the 20th Sunday in Ordinary Time, we celebrate the Solemnity of the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary. In today's preface we hear, "Today the Virgin Mother of God was taken up into heaven to be the beginning and the pattern of the Church in its perfection." In her Assumption, Mary receives the gift of resurrection, of both soul and body, in advance of all those who belong to Christ, who wait to experience the fullness of this gift at his coming. Taken up into heaven, she does not undergo the corruption of physical decay. We can detect resonance with the Immaculate Conception, in which Mary receives the grace of redemption from God in advance of the events that would accomplish it in time, that is, the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus, preserving her from the corruption of sin, so that she can serve as the God-bearer, in Greek Theotokos, the Holy Mother of God. The first reading from the book of Revelation begins, "Then God's temple in heaven was opened, and the ark of his covenant could be seen in the temple." The story of the woman and the dragon then unfolds, ending with her child caught up to God and his throne, and the woman herself whisked away to a place prepared by God. In this highly symbolic, apocalyptic literature, written in code to give hope to persecuted Christians without drawing the wrath of their Roman oppressors, the woman crowned with 12 stars, think 12 tribes, 12 apostles, represents both Israel, from whom the Messiah has come, and the Church, under attack but protected by God. Over time, as theological insights around Mary developed, the figure of the woman became associated with her as living sign of the Church par excellence. Psalm 45 recalls a royal wedding, but mentions neither king nor queen by name, freeing the song for repeated use and adaptation. Today it celebrates Mary's glorious reception in heaven, even as it points to the glorious destiny of the Church as the bride of Christ. Today's reading from Luke 1 features Mary's Magnificat. Like other scriptural songs found outside the book of Psalms, her canticle appears in the middle of a story, signaled by narrative elements that set the stage. In this case, Mary responds to the words of Elizabeth, "Blessed are you who believed that what was spoken to you by the Lord would be fulfilled." Later in the same chapter of Luke, Zechariah, father of John the Baptist, mute since his encounter with the angel Gabriel, breaks his long silence with another well-known canticle, the Benedictus. Obvious introductions aside, form distinguishes these ancient songs. They come in various, recognizable forms, just as the Psalms do. Scholars refer to these variations as individual praise or lament, or communal praise or lament, and identify more specific categories like hymns, songs of confidence, and songs of thanksgiving. In placing these bursts of brilliant liturgical poetry on the lips of his characters, Luke likely adapts and amends pre-existing material. Mary's song resembles the song of Hannah from 1 Samuel 2, verses 1 through 10. This represents neither coincidence nor plagiarism, but a form of homage. For Mediterranean people, group identity and tribal connection outweigh individuality. so also collective traditions and continuity of culture come before individual concerns. Faced with the need to name and claim their own experience, these people ask, how can we best tell this new story? What story from our past comes closest to expressing it? How might we make that story ours? Whether spoken or sung in the context of a scripture story, a canticle jumps off the page as something different, as prayer in response to the action of God. Such songs of praise, rooted in the concrete memory of God's deliverance of the people from oppression, take on a certain subversive quality when sung in the face of the powers that be. The Magnificat remains politically edgy to this day, as it casts down the mighty and lifts up the lowly.